Hey guys, welcome back to our channel Double Travel. Please subscribe, like. You can see on the screen our Instagram accounts. Please also subscribe.
Do you promise to post more from your trip to Portugal?
Yep, for sure. If you subscribe, I will post more. Anyway, this episode is going to be about London. We lived in
Why
London.
am I saying London? Sorry for interrupting. Because London and the rest of the UK are two different worlds. So it's not fair for us to say anything about the UK because we live only in London and we don't really know anything about outside world.
Yeah. We went once to Liverpool and that's it.
So we studied here in university. We did our masters here, and we were huge fans of the UK and London specifically. It was before Brexit, and when people were speculating if Brexit will happen, we were saying there is no way. We live there, and people are so friendly and so welcoming. There is no way it's going to happen. And then we were explaining that you live in London. It's completely different world. So yeah, and we all know how it turned out.
This episode is going to be really interesting because we have an experience living in London in our 20s and in our 30s. This is a completely different experience. I personally think that this is the perfect place if you're in your 20s. I would recommend everyone who is in her own or his 20s to come here because this is the place to be.
Especially if you're lucky enough to be able to go here to university, even for a year, exchange year or something like this. It's amazing.
We finished London College of Fashion. We finished a master's degree in strategic fashion marketing. And I can say that people that I've met there were one of the best people in my life. We remained friends with so many of them. And this was probably one of the best 2 years in my life in general.
One of the best things about London is that you will find people from around the world here. We are from, if not everyone knows, from Ukraine. So we have very few foreigners there. And for example, you had foreign students in your university. I didn't have any. So to study with people from all over the world, and the nicest thing is that there was a quota for students from every single country. Now, unfortunately, after Brexit, it's less popular for foreign students to study here. So
I
there
know
are
that
way
now
more
there are mostly Chinese and Indian
Yes.
students.
So it makes less sense for Europeans to come and study here because it's more expensive, but also you can't really stay here after university. When we studied, it was really a lot of fun because there could be only one person from Ukraine, a couple of people from the US, then from every single country in Europe, then a couple of Chinese, a couple of Indian students. Like, it's amazing because all the discussions were so interesting because people from all over the world told some interesting cases of successful businesses. And if you're just from Ukraine and everyone's from Ukraine, you talk about the same businesses, no?
Also, what I really liked is that they were not rich. They were people who really want to study. Like my classmates, they were obsessed with studying. We all spent our days in library all of the time.
In my year, a lot of people had working experience and a lot of people worked at the same time, so it was a bit different. So also what I really liked that a lot of these people were in their 30s. We were in our 30s actually, early 30s when we studied in masters. No?
Late 25, 26, 27.
So for us it's super late, but when I studied there were people in their early 30s and they worked somewhere in fashion industry and then they decided to do masters and
It's incredible.
gain more knowledge. And I really like it because when we finished our university in Ukraine, we had 2 masters. Basically, we had no idea what we want to do and everyone studied, but a lot of people don't use the knowledge at all because when you finish university and you're 21, you have no idea what you actually want to do. But it's a different story. We were talking about the UK.
So what I want to say, when you're in your 20s, you don't really care, for example, what are the conditions of your living, right? You can live in a student accommodation. I lived in a student
No, but the
accommodation.
student accommodation was very nice.
It was very, very nice. But for example, now when I'm 38, I wouldn't live in a student accommodation because you already want to have like a nicer, right, living.
think
When
in
you're
general,
in your
where you're-
20s, you're happy about everything. You're
Everything.
excited about everything. So this is the place to be because London has a lot of possibilities. For example, now every weekend there is a pop-up that you can visit. As a student, you can go stay in the line and it's fine because you're young, you're motivated, you're energetic, etc. There are lots of museums, galleries, theaters, musicals. Oh my God, all of the time something is happening. There's always a celebrity on the Leicester Square because there's the premiere of some movie. Like for example, on the 15th of May, it was Tom Cruise with his premiere of Mission Impossible. And if you're young, you're excited about
Because
everything.
you basically live in the center of the world. At the same time, London is incredibly expensive.
We worked like crazy when we lived here, and we also did internships. We already discussed this. That we think that this is not okay. That usually internships here are not paid if you don't not come from a rich background, because we don't. So for us,
I
we
think
have
in general,
to, like, work a lot.
I think in general, work should be rewarded with money. The concept of internship, in my opinion, should be illegal.
Yep.
People should be paid even a little bit, even if it's lunch
Yeah,
money,
for
train
Yeah.
ticket, stuff like this.
So let's move on to London in your 30s, because this is a completely different story. So when we moved here, it was incredible because I already had a job, and it was incredible because it gave the opportunity to rent the apartment. I worked as a paid media manager at Harvey Nichols in London. So my
Beauty and
first
fashion.
beauty and fashion. It was a very, very, very good experience, but it was a very, very tough job because this is sales, and you have very, very high KPI, and you have to like talk non-stop, and I'm not a salesperson. First year in London was incredible. We loved it. We loved the apartment where we lived, and
By the way, I
everything.
still
Everything
love
was
it.
incredible.
I still
Everything
love
was
it.
incredible.
So now we need to discuss
On negative sides, of
negative
living
sides in London.
London.
And let's start with the weather, which is very interesting to me because before moving to London, we lived in Rome, and they say that it's foggy all the time and it's raining all the time. But
Yeah.
actually, in Rome, the amount of
Precipitation.
is actually much higher than here. So basically, the whole winter in Rome, and now our family lives in North Italy.
Yeah.
And
It's
it
very
rains
rainy.
way more than here, which is very, very interesting because here there is less sun, but it doesn't really rain like heavy
Yeah.
as much as in Italy, which is very, very interesting because
Yeah.
no one talks about rain.
Yeah, I remember that November in Rome, it was raining every single day from morning until evening, and it's like pouring rain.
Do you remember
It's
how
pouring.
how
It's
normal it
non-stop
was
pouring rain
for
non-stop.
when it's raining to have water in the tube?
Yeah. The
Rain boots.
amount-
We wore rain boots all the time in winter.
Yeah, true
Here
story,
it's
yeah.
like, why?
Here it's different. Like you don't have to wear rain boots in London.
But-
you don't
but-
even have to have a raincoat in London.
But Lena wants to move out of London because of the weather. One of the reasons is the weather, right?
First of all, there's not enough of sun. It depends. Like for example, this May has been really good. This May,
This
only,
May?
the number of sunny days was higher than the whole summer last year. So
Last year, the
last
summer
year-
didn't show up at all.
And you never know in London, the summers could be like in Scandinavia, really cold and without sun. I really love sun. So for me, it's very difficult. This is first thing. Second thing is, of course, the cost of living. So in
Now
a
we're talking
relationship-
about being single and renting.
yeah. So if you're single, you have two possibilities. First of all, rent on your own, right? An apartment. Second, to live with a flatmate or flatmates. If you live on your own, you can rent an apartment on your own. It is possible. Including bills, you will pay around 2000K a month, but this is not going to be in the city center. For me, it wasn't an option because I don't see the point of living in the suburbs of London if you're single. Because in this way,
But
you will just spend your days in the apartment. So what's the point, right?
Lena is very flexible now. She doesn't have to go to the office. So that's why she can choose anywhere where she can live at the moment.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to live somewhere that's cheaper and nicer weather.
And the other option is living with the flatmate. So for the past 7 months, I was living with the flatmate. This way, you can live in the city center, let's say. It would be like, I would say, around 1,500 pounds per month, including bills.
Okay,
But guys, if you're not lucky with a flatmate, your life is going to be a nightmare.
I want to finish this episode, but before that, I want to ask you what has shocked you the most about the UK?
Shocked? Nothing has shocked me.
Come on. I know for sure one thing is how much English people drink. I didn't expect that because coming from Eastern Europe, I thought that no one drinks more than there, and it's so not true. I've never seen this many drunk people outside, and especially women. It's very rare to see drunk women in Eastern Europe. It's actually shameful. And here it's completely normal if you go to a party that you're wasted.
Also, one thing about British people is I remember this when I went to the university. We always said with my European friends that it's impossible to have a British friend. Everyone said that. And I said, no, it's possible. But after living here for 3 years, I kind of think it's impossible because my colleagues at work, like, they were nice, but they never wanted to interact with me. So
I wonder.
I have zero idea how it's possible to have a British friend.
To be honest, I think when you're in your 30s, it's super difficult to make friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing that I must say that shocked me as well, we are super blunt, we're super direct. And here it's like completely opposite. You have to be super indirect, and it has been a very big trouble.
You have to be always extremely nice, polite, indirect. You can't say anything direct because if you say anything direct, they say, "Oh, you're from Eastern Europe. We know that you're blonde," but it's a negative. It means that you need to change. Everything that you say has to be in a polite way. Okay. So our friend from Denmark, she was recommended a book, how to write emails
or internship?
here, how to write emails in the UK. But I honestly think I thought that it's a joke, and now I think that there is a culture here. You're just so actually the person that we know from Ukraine that is just walking right here. This is really
so
cool.
weird.
Thank you guys for watching. If you love this format, let us know. We can tell you more and more info about living in London, Dubai, Italy, etc.
And the next episodes, we're going to tell you about living in China and living in Ukraine.
Please comment, please subscribe, please like. This means tons to us. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.